Good evening, everyone. My name is Zaina Balogun, the lead consultant of Yemna Properties. And this evening, we are going to be dissecting this how to earn passive income through real estate. And we are going to be analyzing the 17 years lease investment project in Akoka, how it can generate cash flow for us. So I'm going to be sharing my screen shortly so we can see and follow through the slides. The Akoka lease, building passive wealth in Lagos real estate. And we're going to be discovering how this 17 years lease investment generates predictable cash flow for us. It could be monthly, it could be yearly, depending on how we want to get the revenue and the model we want to use. But before now, the old standard of investing in real estate typically is you buy property, you buy land, most especially land, because land is more easy accessible to everyone. We can buy land, mostly land banking projects. We hold it for some certain durations, hold it for years, 5, 10, depending, 15 years and the likes. So we hold it for this certain duration and we move on with our daily life. But people with hefty budgets, they can go on with buying houses, buying buildings, buying apartments and generating cash flow for it. Not until the recent shifts in lands, where we now buy land banking projects, and we start farming on it and we start earning from it, probably by annually or some even more than 2 years, depending on the type of crop you choose to go for. But then, how can buildings be accessible for everyone? How can buildings be accessible for you, and how can we invest in buildings without FT capital? So that's why this leasehold project comes in. And before you even invest, how do you evaluate a location? Because location must suit these 4 things. So we are moving from just I own property to I own property that has value or generates cash flow for me or owns my assets. You own assets that create value. And for you to own assets that create value, from you to move from I own property or I invest in real estate to I invest in strategic real estate development and I make consistent cash flow from it or capital appreciation from it. It has to fit in this first criteria. The first is the strategic location. Strategic location is the location you are investing. Is it strategic? Is it a developing location or it is already developed? A developing could be, there are a lot of infrastructure, both private and government infrastructure, coming up in this place that is going to make this location develop sporadically within a blink of an eye, within few years. Already developed location. This location has arrived. This location is a talking town. It has been existing. The market has been stable for years, and the likes are the likes of the Yaba, Surulere, Lekki, VI. You understand? It's already a strategic location. The market is stable. It's not volatile. You're not guessing. You're not playing try your luck. It's there. Number 2 is consistent demand. Wherever you are investing in, especially when it comes to building that you want to generate cash flow from, there must be consistent demand there. Especially if you want to use it for rental. You don't want to live there. You want to use it for rental. You want to generate cash flow. You want to get money from people. There needs to be consistent demand so that when one occupant is living there, you don't leave the place vacant for years or for months before you see the next occupant, or even have to slash down your price just because you don't want your house to be empty. So there needs to be consistent, because when there is consistent and constant demand, there are a lot of people flooding the place. It's soldier go, soldier come. People are always running on it. They are always running after it. That I want to get this place. I want to get this place. Immediately they see vacants like this, immediately 10 people are on it. And that is just the basic law of real estate. Let's be very true ourselves. Once demand is more than supply, you make more money. That's why you see this place. Why is rent in this place so high? Why is land in this place so high? And they're not doing anything about it. It's just simple law of economics. Demand is already more than supply, and price will automatically go up. That's just it. The next one is predictable cash flow. You need to be able to predict the cash flow you are getting from the property, and also the property you are buying or you are building in that location fits. And that's also boils down to strategic location, because you cannot buy a property worth 1 billion naira and you are putting it in a location that the economic activities on those location is just 5 million naira for rent. And even the 5 million naira, you know what you do before you see people that can afford that. It's not making sense. So they need to be predictable cash flow, befitting the type of property you have there. And usage flexibility. What makes a property top notch is when you can change the usage. Oh, rental, I'm doing rental. Okay, shortlet is now doing very well in this my area, and my property also fits. My property is also in good condition. Just have to do some, little changes. I can also do shortlet. Then you switch to shortlet. You're making better ROI from it. Oh, this place is like shortlet is now kind of down in this place. I want to switch it to hostel. Oh, I want to switch it to rent. You can switch the usage. Not like, oh, it's only yearly rent I can do here. Oh, I cannot do shortlet. Oh, I cannot do any. I'm not saying only yearly renter is bad, okay? But then you need to have usage flex, because if you have usage flexibility, when one is down, you can easily switch to the other without hindering your return on investments. So real estate is evolving. The core question is no longer just how to own, but how to make your capital work efficiently to create recurring income. It's not just about I want to own land, I want to buy house, I want to know apartments. It's if the money you are deploying into that project is efficiently working. It is working to its maximum capacity to create revenue for you, to create cash flow for you. That is the purpose of investing. Next is a location built around structural demand. And before we even talk about this, let's briefly talk what makes a location in demand, because I've seen people, they just have money, they don't know how to invest. They're just investing based on emotion, based on, oh, my friend bought here, based on, oh, I know someone is asking me to buy here, but not because they are making logical decision. And for some people, they don't even know what to make decision about. And that's why I'm going to be sharing 4 prime things you need to consider before you make a decision in a location, especially if it is buildings. Land, you can still buy land in a developing place. That, okay, since I'm not, my main goal is capital appreciation, not cash flow. The major reason I'm buying this thing is for you to appreciate over 5 years, over 3 years, over 10 years. The goal is different. But when you are buying a building, you are deploying like 100 million, you're deploying like 150 million to buy a building, like 50 million to buy. You cannot just open your eye and invest in a wrong location that 20, 30 years, you've not even make your money back. That is a bad investment. So here are 4 things you need to consider before you deploy your money in a location. Number 1 is infrastructure. You need to look at the infrastructure. And this is very peculiar to buildings. If you are buying house, if you are buying apartment, terrace, whatever, just make sure it's going to use to do rent. People want to stay there. There needs to be infrastructure, because I cannot leave my home, or I cannot leave wherever I'm staying right now to go to a worse place. We are always moving to a better place, better condition, better location. And one thing people will look at is infrastructure. Are there good road network there? Are there banks? Are there commercial activities? Are there a lot of infrastructure, both government infrastructure, hospital, mall? So you cannot tell me I want to stay in a location and I have to drive or move for 2 hours before I can find a place to eat, before I can find eatery, before I can find a shopping center. Do you understand? All these things are infrastructure. They are what drive demand. Oh, it's just 5 minutes from this so location. Oh, that's a good landmark point. It's just 5 minutes from ShopRite. I'm just citing an example, not necessarily ShopRite, or different amenities. That is infrastructure. So you need to have high infrastructural connectivity, not definitely in front of it, but at least within the circumference of that location. There must be a lot of infrastructure there. Another thing is economic activities. If there are no economic activities there, or the economic activity is dull, trust me, business are going to be moving out and people are not going to be staying there. Because if I want to stay in the location, okay, I can start my business here. And in a year, in a month, I'm not making enough revenue. The business is dull here. Economic activity, there's no money, is not flowing. The more money is flowing in and flowing out, the more bubbling, the more developed the place is going to be. So there need to be economic activities in those locations. Businesses need to be there. Commercial activities need to be there. A whole lot, because that's going to affect. The third one is demography. Who are the category of people that are living there? And this is for people that want to buy, or maybe they want to build You cannot build an infrastructure that is costing you like 500 million naira or 1 billion naira. Maybe, I don't know, you are, okay, for example, you are buying, I look at the demography of the people that are living, the demography of people that are living there. There are still people in their prime, people that they are still living in their parent house that cannot afford rent, and you are building that high. How do you plan to get your money? So the demography are working class there, are top executive there. Demography, who are the people that are living in this place? Can they pay the rent of what I am building? Can they pay the rent of what I am buying? That's going to help you shape the capital you're going to be deploying. So this is not a matter of doing fake or using fake material, but instead of you building detached, for example, detached duplex, 5-bedroom detached duplex that you're going to be maybe selling for about 400 million, 500 million, or if you want to rent it about 10 million upward, and you check the demography of the place, you be like, the demography of this place, the people here buying a semi-detached or a detached is not their priority. Instead, that land, you can convert it to building apartments. You know that apartment is going to sell faster. The people are going to rent it faster. 1 bedroom is going to sell faster. 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom is going to sell faster. And some places it's terrace that are buying there. You look at, terrace is going to... And some places it's semi-detached. Some places it's fully detached. So you need to look at the demography. So now let's look at Akoka, Yaba, for example. In terms of infrastructure, it has a lot of universities, Unilag, Yaba Tech. It also have a lot of businesses there, commercial activities for people staying in Lagos. And even if they are not staying in Lagos, you know that Yaba is one of, when you're talking about Lagos mainland, Yaba are on the list, are on the top priority list. The other aspect is economic activities. There are a lot of businesses there, both private businesses, SMEs, government business, a lot more. Even organizations, corporations, there are a lot there. Also, accessibility. It's easy accessible. From Yaba, you can easily navigate to the island. You can easily navigate to the mainland. You understand? It is easy, and people like to stay where they can easily. Not where you're going to be spending 2 hours, 1 hour plus, 2 hours plus in the road before you get to work or before you get to your house. It's easily accessible. The connectivity level is high. It is prime. And also the demography is balanced. It has professionals. It has elderly people that are staying there. Students are staying there. It has professionals, and government are making a whole lot of money from that place. They are investing heavily in that place because university is one major source of income. They want to make it look attractive to both private and individual investors to come and invest there. And also it has a stable market. Yaba has been existing for a long while, and the market is very stable. The rental market is very, very stable. Rethinking ownership, the financial vehicle, and here we're going to be talking about freehold and leasehold projects, because I know that some people are very conversant with freehold projects. They're not really conversant with leasehold projects. So what is a freehold project? What is a leasehold project? And I'm going to be differentiating with this table. For leasehold and for freehold, the duration is different. For freehold, it is permanent ownership, meaning that you own this place for life. If it's a land, you own this land forever unless you sell it or you do anything with it. If it's a house, you own this house for life. But for lease projects, it has a defined usage period. And for this one we are analyzing, it is a 17 years lease project. That is like 2 decades. That's like close to 20 years. It's a long period of time for every smart investor that know what they're doing to have deployed capital, getting their capital in folds, and also make a lot of return on investment. Number 2, capital requirement. For freehold, it requires high capital upfront. For example, you want to buy a 1-bedroom apartment. Let's say averagely 1 bedroom is between 90-100 million, depending on the location. For freehold, that you are going to own it forever. For leasehold, you cannot get it at that price. It's going to be at subsidized rate. Let's take the project we're analyzing, for example. For the 17 years long lease, if you are going for a studio is 14 million naira for a studio for the long lease. Why for freehold you want to own it for life? For studio in around Yaba, it's going for nothing less than 50 million naira. You can see the difference. 50 million naira, 14 million naira. With 50 million naira, you can own like 2 to 3 studio in the leasehold, while you're getting your revenue across 17 years. within the range of 17 years, you've gotten enough money to buy the apartment you are going to own forever. So this leasehold is about you getting your cash flow immediately, and it has easy exit points. You can easily exit after 17 years. You know you've exited. So for the freehold, the primary focus is long-term appreciation, while for the 17 years lease is immediate and predictable cash flow. And also, some people will feel kind of reluctant when they hear the word leasehold. Leasehold does not mean that you are restricted. With leasehold, you also have the rights. You have the absolute right to monetize the property for the agreed period of time, transforming real estate from just a static asset into an active income. So leasehold also give you the leverage, the liberty of whatever you are going to be doing with your permanent house, in as much you're not doing anything that is going to be affecting the structure of the building. So now let's talk about this 17 years cash flow engine, because some people will be like, 17 years, when is the 17 years reading? Is it immediately after I make my deposit? No. The 17 years starts after handover. And the project is set to complete within 12 months. That is a year. So after 1 year, you've gotten your handover. That is when it starts reading, and it's reading from year 1 through year 17. You can see the arrow goes continuous income generation and usage, which is your cash flow engine phase. Let's talk about different options you can use it to do. One asset, multiple yield strategy. Because it's in a strategic location, a central location, close to professionals, working class, young couples, young individuals just starting their life, even students, lecturers and all of that. It has a mixed audience. It has a mixed demographic. That means you can do a lot of things with it. You can decide to go for shortlets, where you can be earning daily, weekly, monthly, per stay. You're going to be earning per stay from it, and it has the highest income potential. Although it's not stable unlike the renter. But if you are able to explore different real estate strategy, then this shortlet is a must for you, especially in this Yaba axis, because the market is very, very high in this area. The market is very, very high. So now let's go to the yearly renter. The yearly renter create a stable amount of revenue for you. You already know that annually you are going to be getting money. And for the mixed strategy, you can decide to do shortlet, you can decide to do hostel, you can decide to do yearly rental. Any of it, there is market for it, in as much as Akoka Yaba. So you can decide that this period the shortlet is performing more better. Okay, let me switch my apartment to shortlet and earn more. I want to do yearly rental. Let me do yearly rent. I want to do hostel. Or if you are going for 3 units, maybe 1 2-bedroom, 1 bedroom, and also studio. The 2-bedroom, you can decide to do yearly rental. Who are going to take that? Maybe family, young family, or professionals that just starting out his life. They can take the 2-bedroom. The 1-bedroom, you can decide to do shortlet with it. For the studio, you can decide to do hostel with it. That you have a balanced mixed strategy. So you're not just depending on one. You have different options. So now let's analyze the studio apartment. For this analysis is based on shortlets. And the capital entry point is 14 million naira for the studio apartment. So for a studio apartment, you are getting for 14 million naira, and the studio comprises of 1 room, toilets, and kitchen. If you are using it for shortlets, your projected net income is 300,000 naira, and the 300,000 naira is based on 50% occupancy rates. We are assuming it's 50% occupancy rate, meaning that out of 30 days in a month, 15 days the apartment is going to be occupied. So you're going to be getting 300,000 naira every month, and the projected annual net is 3.6 million naira. And this fee, the 300,000 and 3.6, is after the management and operating costs, it has been removed. So after removing like the maintenance, electricity, operational costs, etc., what is going to be getting to you monthly is 300,000 naira based on 50% occupancy rate. While for yearly is 3.6 million naira for the studio. So for 1 bed, monthly is 600,000 naira net after removing operating cost and management, and in a year is 7.2. That is for one bed. So imagine for two bed for shortlet is like 1 million naira per month based on 50% occupancy rate. So now let's talk about the capital deployment pathway. So some people can decide to go for the 14 million naira one. Some people can decide to go for the 24 million naira, which is the one bed, while some people can go for the two bed, which is 50 million naira. So for example, if you have a 100 million naira budget now, you can decide to go for two bedroom apartment, one unit. That is 50 million naira. And the remaining 50 million naira, you can decide to go for studio, a one bedroom apartment, which is 24 million naira. And you still have 26 million naira left. The 26 million naira, you can still get one unit of studio apartment with 2 million naira change left with your 100 million naira. If you have a 50 million naira budget, you can decide to go for one unit of one bedroom and one unit of studio, or you can decide to go for 3 units of studio or 2 units of one bedroom, or just go for one single unit of 2 bedroom, depending on how you want to deploy your capital. So now let's talk about fractional deployment, which is like the joint venture model. Because for some people, like we said earlier, they really want to invest in real estate, really want to invest in property, but then they don't have access to finance, they don't have access to loan, access to cooperative and all of that. Because there's nobody you ask, do you want money or do you want this? They will definitely say yes, but then they don't have access to this money. So instead of you just waiting or thinking, oh, I cannot do this thing, with this long lease, you can even do JV, the fractional deployment ownership to it. Let's, for example, the base one, which is the 14 million naira studio, you are getting, and you want to split it between two investors, investor A and investor B. That means investor A owns 50% of it, which is 7 million naira, and investor B also owns 50%, which is 7 million naira. If it's 4 investors that are coming together, they are going to be owning 25% each, which is 3.5 in 4 places. Same thing applicable to one bed, same thing applicable to 2 bed, depending on how you want to do the joint ownership. And if you decide you want to own it fully yourself, or you even have each capital you can deploy into it, fantastic, you are going to earn more and you're going to earn better. So let's, for example, this studio, 2 investors are coming together now to own the studio, and they're going to be owning it 50%. You know that in a month, if you are earning 300,000 naira, each investor are going to be getting 150,000 naira each. And annually, you are going to be getting 1.8 million naira each. It's better. Your capital is working for you. Your 7 million naira is generating 1.8 million naira for you in a year, and you're going to be collecting it for 17 years. Do the mathematics. 1.8 times 17 years. If you are you are getting one studio for 14 million naira, and you are getting it at, let's say, shortlet, and it's still based on 50% occupancy rates, that is 15 days out of 30 days, you're going to be generating over 60 million naira from it. There's every tendency it's more than that, because there are some duration you have occupancy higher than 50%. Price might increase, inflation might set in, demand might increase, and price will increase. But let's keep it at the average, let's keep it at the base. The next one is the 50 million naira strategy. Let's compare this with investor A and investor B. Let's assume investor A have 50 million naira and investor B also have 50 million naira, and they both want to invest in property, in building, in apartments. So investor A carries 50 million naira to Akoka Yaba, and what that 50 million naira can get for him is a studio apartment, one studio apartment which he owns for life. That's a freehold. He owns that for life. The 50 million naira is there, generating income for him. Then investor B, on the other hand, like, okay, I want to go for leasehold projects. I'm more of the mathematics of my cash flow than just ownership. I'm beyond moving just, I own this thing this is what I am generating monthly, annually from what I hold. They don't even mind if it's for some duration. So investor B, on the other hand, go for 3 units of studio apartments going for 14 million naira each. If you are doing that, you're going to be getting it at 42 million naira, leaving you 8 million naira change out of the 50 million naira for setup and operational cost. So why investor A? Let's still calculate as 50% occupancy rate for both investors, okay? Because it's still in the same location we are using. Investor A at the end of a year that bought just one studio apartment is going to be having 3.6 million naira annually. While on the other hand, investor B that has 3 units of leasehold for 17 years project of studio apartment is also going to be getting 3.6 million from just one. So 3.6 times 3, because he has 3 studio, that is 10.8 million naira. Why investor A is getting 3.6 from just one unit of the property he owns for life, investor B is getting 10.8 and the property he owns for 17 years with the same capital. Let's do the mathematics. In 10 years, investor A, let's say investor A is still at 3.6. 3.6, it didn't change, just 15% occupancy rate. In 10 years, investor A would have collected 36 million naira. Investor B, on the other hand, we are going to do 10.8 multiplied by 10 years. Investor B would have gotten 108 million. 100 million and 8 million naira. Still the same capital, but different ways. And investor B has like 17 years, that's like 2 decades. Investor B has made times fold of what investor A will make. Even from just 10 years, he can take this 108 and go and use to buy an apartment he owns forever. And the remaining 7 years, he can get the cap and the cash flow from it and also invest in leasehold projects. So the mathematics there is which one is going to give me more money? So imagine we are not deploying 100 million naira budget into this. Why investor A just buy one property, investor B can get 4 to 5 properties and is earning more. Like that is 5 times power of what investor A is earning. So at times, if you have limited budget, if you have limited capital, strategic investment matters a lot. And this is also a strategic investment because it doesn't matter the capital we deploy in it. It's the return on investment that matters. And 17 years is also a long year. It's not 1 year or 2 years that can say, okay, the time is going to close on time. 17 years is approximately close to 2 decades. Add 17 years plus your age. You know, it's not a small years at all. Let's move on. This is the 100 million naira strategy. Like I explained earlier, 50 million, 100 million, depending on the strategy you want to use. This is the executive summary of what we've talked about. The strategic location. The property is located in Akoka, Yaba. We have strong demand for rental property, for shortlet, for hostels. So depending on the strategy you want to use, it's not one size fits all. You can use it to do anything there, in as much you are getting your steady ROI. Number 2 is the flexible 17 years income focused model. So for the 17 years, you know you are getting cash flow. You are getting your capital back in folds with return on investment. And the third important thing I love about this project is it allows JV, that is the joint ownership. 2 persons, 3 persons, 4 persons can come together to own a unit or more. And get it. Imagine 5 investors comes together and they invest 20 million naira, that is 100 million naira. They can get like 6 studio and also share the profit on the sharing ratio. Imagine 4 investors comes together and they are bringing in 25 million naira budget. That is 100 million naira. And they're going to be earning a lot. They're going to be earning a lot from it. At least if you are bringing in 100 million naira budget, your yearly cash flow should be nothing less than 20 million naira. So imagine you are getting that for 17 years, even more than that. And also, multiple tailored strategy. It's not only shortlets you can use it to do. You can decide to go for the traditional rental. You can decide to go for hostels. So you have different options you can do. So what is the next step you're going to be taking from here? The next step is to request the details or brochure, schedule a private consultation, book a site inspection, and also secure your preferred unit type. Contact me for more details, book a site inspection, and set a project yourself. anticipating to undo your next or first property investments with this leasehold project, this is a very good opportunity. You should harness and you shouldn't allow it to slide past you. You should make good use of this opportunity. Thank you and bye.